Hello and welcome to the Scale Up webinar. We are so happy that you are here today. So welcome to everyone who's joining us live as well. Welcome to everyone who's coming in and watching the replay and who's listening on the podcast. This is an amazing training that we have prepared for you today called Scale Up. It's all about how to learn how to bring your expertise in online training programs to a new global market. So we are so excited. We're going to kick off right away. We have a lot of great information to go through today. So let's get started. Today, you're going to learn how to scale your adult online training programs to new regions, languages, and audiences. So it's possible that you're already delivering great training programs for adults who work with children, and possibly post-COVID, you may have been in the midst of converting to a lot of online training. So now today, you not only want to create great online courses, but you want to be able to scale those courses to new regions and new markets. So today's webinar is all about that. We will not only share with you the scale up method, how to scale up, but we're also going to explain how Global Childhood Academy is going to be a beautiful foundation to help you through this process. So today's agenda, we're going to cover the top 6 critical steps of expanding into new global markets. And we're also going to be covering the best practices of how to successfully scale into these new regions. And this is what's going to help you create a comprehensive plan to launch your courses globally. So we have an amazing panel of speakers today. I can't wait to introduce you to them. First off, we have Samia Kazi. She is a global education advisor. She's a social entrepreneur, an early childhood specialist. I mean, she has worked with international NGOs, government bodies, investment funds, and regional advocacy centers to help improve early childhood systems, policies, and quality assurance systems. So Samia has founded a leading early childhood teacher training academy in the Middle East called Arabian Child. And she's successfully adapted, contextualized, and launched over 62 training programs with over 13 organizational partners, and has successfully trained over 9,000 learners. So we are so excited to have Samia here with us today. And then we have myself, Chantal Gassier. I am the partnership manager for Global Childhood Academy. I'm a tech expert and a learning management systems specialist. I have over 16 years of partnership development and global business development. I have been a key member with Global Childhood Academy. I've helped launch it, and my technical expertise, and I have a big get it done attitude. You will find that out in the days to come. But it makes me really the perfect person to be able to work with partners from around the world to be able to help them launch their courses on the Global Childhood Academy platform. I have founded and am the founder of multiple marketing agencies and consulting agencies, and I specialize in advertising and supporting women in business who are really trying to start their entrepreneurial journey and who are looking to scale their training courses to new markets. So that's a little bit about me. And then we have the wonderful Maria Barrackett. So she is the Global Childhood Academy digital marketing expert. She is a learning design expert. I mean, Maria is such a joy to have on our team. She is a 20-year veteran of small business and digital social media marketing. She's a designer, an e-learning designer. And so she helps educators really meet their learning outcomes and really shows them how to increase engagement. So Maria, she's a frequent speaker and trainer of the digital marketing and learning process. She is a very, very passionate advocate for the early childhood education sector. She is all about the global child. She works with schools, programs, teachers, and consultants to really help them grow their programs and thought leadership. So her expertise is fantastic in helping to really guide a cultural marketing experience for organizations, businesses, and individual trainers. So we're so happy to have Maria here with us today as well. So that's the three of us. And today we're really talking to you about the experience, the transformation, kind of the footwork that Global Childhood Academy has put together. And if you're new here, Global Childhood Academy is the #1 training hub for adults who work with children. And as you can see here, we have some Arabic writing on the screen. If you speak Arabic, you understand that our platform is multilingual right now, and our goal is to expand into new languages as well. So we have a lot of experience with growing into new markets. So I'm going to take a quick minute and share a little overview of what Global Childhood Academy really is.
Do you offer high-quality training courses that teach adults working with or caring for children? Do you have a desire to expand your e-learning training programs across the globe, but don't currently have the reach to do so? The GCA platform is the #1 global e-learning platform built on a strong mission to serve children through online courses that train the adults who serve them. When you host your courses on the Global Childhood Academy platform, you become a partner in a collective mission to serve the global child. Our professional teams will work with you to design, plan, prepare, and bring your courses to a global audience of learners through a state-of-the-art learning management system. By partnering with a powerful global online platform like Global Childhood Academy, you not only bring these powerful experiences to the learners in your area, but with our help, you can find new learners from around the globe. We have programs that will help you offer your solutions to learners wherever they are, in whatever language they speak. When you join the Global Childhood Academy e-learning platform, you are not just a single course sitting in an ocean of unrelated online classes. You are in a global community where you belong. Welcome to the new era of e-learning. If you are ready to take your e-learning, blended and in-person courses to global level, start now by booking a demo at globalchildhoodacademy.com and bring your message to learners who want to build a better future for children.
Amazing. So that's just a quick little overview and a little takeaway of what Global Childhood Academy really does. But here, what you see on your screen is our powerful framework. And I mean, this may seem very overwhelming right now from the outside looking in, and I understand that, but it's just to show you how powerful and how thorough our framework is, because our goal and our vision is very child-centered. That's what our platform is about. We are built around a multi-stakeholder model. So all adults who serve, care for, and protect for children are our learners and target audience searching for training programs. And these training programs need to be relevant to their educational needs. So as you can see in the gold on the outside ring, those are our learners that are coming onto the platform wanting to learn and expand their education. So what Global Childhood Academy is we are the first online learning management system that is truly offering a community of e-learning courses that has the global child in mind. And so we have specific course topics, and then our goal is what you'll find in the center. And I'm going to let Maria touch a little bit more on this a little later on in the presentation. So our mission is very simple. We want to take your mission global. We understand that your mission is very focused on children, and we want to help you spread that mission globally to audiences that need it most. So today we have an amazing gift for you for showing up. We have created such an amazing ebook called Scale Up, and you'll be receiving that in an email follow-up once this webinar is done. There are 12 critical steps to scaling up. We are going to be covering six of them today, but all 12 will be in the Scale Up ebook that you'll be receiving. Plus, stick around till the end because we have two really special offers that we want to give to you today to help you launch your first courses right now. So the question is always the same. How hard is it really to expand? Well, when you're developing successful online training programs, there's going to become and you're going to run into some complications, right? It can be a little more complicated when you want to start to deliver it into different languages, into multiple languages, or possibly a different kind of context and new regions. So there's two ways of going about this. You can choose to learn the hard way through trial and error. And let me tell you, we've done a lot of the trial and error. Or you can develop a scale-up plan, the framework that we are teaching you today as a guide to be able to really bring your courses, your learnings into the markets that you want to. And so the question is always then, like, why should we scale and why should you scale and why do we care that you scale? We are very invested in your organization and wanting to help you bring to the global markets. So we are doing this first off because we care about the children globally. That is our main concern always. And so by caring for the children globally, we then care about the people who care for them. So we are very, very sensitive to their challenges, which makes your training programs a solution for those challenges. And that's why we're here today. So when developing successful online training programs becomes a challenge, it becomes a challenge under many circumstances, right? But it becomes more complicated when you want to deliver in those multiple languages, contexts, and new regions. Translation is just not enough anymore, right? It's not enough. It is a barrier, obviously, of course, but the difficulties go far beyond language alone. And there are several important steps that any instructor needs to consider in order to make sure that their e-learning course is relevant for that particular audience and that their plan is very comprehensive enough to avoid future problems and be able to minimize the risks. So today's discussion is really meant to guide you. It is structured to be able to define the best strategy to use when thinking about expanding your programs to online markets, to new markets. And this does not mean it will be easy. We know that there's going to be a couple hiccups along the way, but being able to reignite a program in a new area will always be a little challenging. And this webinar, our focus, our goal is to be able to help you be prepared to face those challenges in a calm and tactful way. So this slide here, it represents everything that we're doing. It represents what you already have. It represents the knowledge and skills that you already have. We have solutions, right? So to be able to describe your e-learning programs, we refer this as your products, which essentially are your solutions to a particular challenge or problem. So we will be interchangeably using these words throughout the rest of the webinar. So I'm going to stop right here and I'm going to hand it over to Dr. Samia Kazi. She's going to run you through the next 12 steps or 6 steps of our 12-step process. And I'll hand it over to her now. Thanks, Samia.
Thank you so much, Chantal. That was incredible. You know, the reason that we put this together is that because we've been listening to so many people and organizations that care for young children and care for and serve the adults who serve the global child in the last year or two. And we've seen how much passion, the heart, the soul that these people have, but they may also lack some of the technical expertise, including the global marketing and the guidance to be able to scale those programs globally. So besides sharing these 12 steps, really Global Childhood Academy is the partner, is the foundation, is the rock that will guide through the scale up. So what are the first 6 steps that we're going to cover? We're going to talk about how important building empathy and trust is. We'll talk about approvals and blessings. What's the difference between those? Then we'll talk about partnerships and strategic alliances. What's the difference between the two, and when do you partner with someone, and when do you establish a strategic alliance with someone? Then we'll talk about awareness through cultural marketing, and we'll talk about technology as well. So the first step, starting with empathy and trust. When you think about it, if you're serving adults who care, protect, or educate children, I know that these virtues are embedded in you. You use them every single day. But then sometimes when, as course creators, as organizations who are planning to take our e-learnings for a new region and new markets, we sometimes forget to start with this, because you're thinking about your training program, you're thinking about your AKA product, right? And you're thinking about, okay, how do I convince this new market to take my product or to enroll in my e-learning program? But it's actually completely the other way around. It's about solving their problems. It's about listening to them, listening to how they're describing their challenges. It's about observing them doing what they're doing, listening to how they're describing their feelings and emotions, rather than thinking about your product. And think about it, you're really almost up against impossible odds, because your success depends on your ability to anticipate your new audience's needs. So the more time you invest in this step, the better you're going to do on the long run, and the less challenges and the less risks you'll run into later on. So this step is really, we need to be present, we need to practice active listening, and try not to think about your e-learning program just during this step at least. And some practical ideas on how to put this into action. So the easiest thing is you could talk to your new audience or learners. You can put together some focus groups, maybe conduct a small pilot training. Maybe if you're starting to deliver an e-learning in a new country or a new market, then maybe attending webinars, live events, virtual events from that region, following people on social media who are influencers, experts from that region, and then hopefully meeting them, reaching out and meeting with them as well. And the reason why we've created these 12 steps and why I am so personally passionate about it is because I've been there. I've been in the trenches on both sides. So I've been the local regional partner who's trying to bring the international programs, adapt them, contextualize them, and deliver them in my own home language to learners in my community. And then I've also been on the other side where I'm the course creator or the course founder, and I'm looking for partners from other regions who will be like my satellite offices, and trying to share my program with them so that they can share them within their communities. So everything that you're learning here today, it's really never been put together as such, and it's based on a lot of blood, sweat, and tears of all of us team put together. And what's great about Global Childhood Academy is that they're a platform that has trust, and they practice, it's a team that practices empathy on a daily basis with their partners and within their team members as well. So the next step, you want to think about approvals and blessings. So hopefully you did a lot of active listening, and you heard a lot of challenges that your local audience is going through in step number 1. And you kind of figure out or narrow down what challenges your new audience is going through, but you're probably not the first one. So you're not unique to figuring out this challenge, right? There are other organizations that also know about these challenges. Their solutions might not be as good as your solution, but they know about the challenge. So there's government organizations, there are private entities, there's NGOs, local training providers, and even freelance experts that are doing some work in this field. So you need to find out who else is playing in your arena. And one way of doing that is conducting a stakeholder analysis. You can use a matrix like the one that's in front of you. All of this is going to be in the ebook as well. So by listing all of these potential stakeholders and then trying to figure out how much power they have in their community, in their area, and how much interest, and what's the overlap between their interest and your interest, and then think about what possible engagement strategy you'll have to think about in order to set some partnerships with them. And the difference here between formal approvals and blessings. So if you're offering, let's say, a qualification for teachers, a qualification for home visitors, for police officers working with young children and child protection units, whatever, if you are offering a qualification, then you may need to think about what kind of government approvals you need for that kind of qualification. And that route may be a little bit more challenging than the second type, which is certifications or professional development or vocational kind of certifications. So even for that, you might need endorsement and accreditation by local education councils. So really understanding, when do I need formal approvals and what kind of informal blessings we will need. I'll talk a little bit more about informal blessings when we discuss strategic alliances, but informal blessing is almost as or more important than formal ones, depending on which country you're planning to enter. So don't underestimate the power of informal blessings. And what's great about Global Childhood Academy is that you're working with a team that understands this. They understand the needs of local policymakers. The platform has a dedicated area for training courses for policymakers that work on policies related to children. And they also, the team themselves have experience working within education systems. So next, you want to think about partnerships. Partnerships, when we talk about partnerships, we're discussing your local, loyal boots on the ground. So probably in your search that you did in step number 2, you may have come across local community level organizations, committed, well-respected organizations that could potentially be your local boots on the ground. So how do you check those people? How do you select a proper local boots on the ground? Well, first of all, you want to look for an organization that respects and understands the concept of IP, intellectual property. You want to look for an organization that has great communication back and forth with you, they're committed to the cause. They have great chemistry, synergy between what they want to do and what your organization want to do. They put into practice professional ethics. And of course, most importantly, you see there's fruit on the achievements that they've done in the past couple of years as well. And when you're thinking about partnerships, we know that as the course creator, as the founder or the owner of the e-learning courses, you're worried about your intellectual property. You're worried how much time you may lose if you invest in this potential partnership and then it doesn't pan out. You're worried that you may start off having good communication and then it ends up not being such great communication later on. And then you're worried how much commitment your local partner may or may not actually put into this project that you're doing together. But guess what? They're also worried as well. They're worried that you might cut them short. What if you establish, a strong relationship together and then they start raising awareness about your program and then you suddenly decide to leave them out? So they're worried about that. They're also worried about the actual delivery quality. Even if you have a great reputation for years and years and years in one country, how you actually put that into practice and will you deliver a quality program that is meaningful for those people in that community is also a worry for them. And then they're also worried about the amount of work that they'll have to incur that they didn't actually, set out for in the beginning. Next, you want to think about what strategic alliances you might need to build. So if you go back to your stakeholder matrix, you may have noticed some organizations that don't really fall into the category of your local partnerships or boots on the ground, but also may be strong in other ways. So maybe there's a partner that's holding an event sometime in the future. Maybe they have a large database of contacts. Maybe they have a large following. So strategic alliances, you align with them for a very targeted benefit. You can't rely on them for all the other things that you need your local boots on the ground partner to do. And what's great about Global Childhood Academy is they understand this. They understand the value and the importance of these connections. And what's great is that the existing partners within the Global Childhood Academy network are potentially your local boots on the ground partners in the different regions. Next, I want to talk about technology. Global Childhood Academy is an e-learning platform. It's the hub for training adults who work with children. And we want to help you to understand how to continue to use learning management platforms, LMS platforms, even within areas that don't all have the resources and the access to technology or to Wi-Fi. Because what we believe is that if you don't use an LMS to house or organize your training program when you scale up, then you might be losing track of who's signing up for your training programs. You might not be able to see enough evidence of what your students are doing. And you might be in the dark about, for example, how much your students are actually paying in that country if you are selling those e-learning programs. And then you may not be able to perform enough amount of quality assurance or audit on the work of your local assessors and instructors. So let's think about 5 potential scenarios. So scenario 1, all of the learners in your new market or your new region have access to personal laptops and computers. They all have smartphones and they all have access to Wi-Fi. That's the ideal scenario. But then look at scenario 2. They still have access to laptops and smartphones, but the Wi-Fi is not so great. In scenario 3, they don't have access to personal laptops and computers, but they do have smartphones and Wi-Fi is available in some areas. Whereas then it goes all the way to scenario 5 where they don't have access to any of these things. So we're going to talk about 3 of these 5 scenarios together. So how would you use in scenario 1, in the ideal situation, you would house all of your content on an LMS, on a learning management system. Then you have the option of creating self-paced learning, which has like recorded lectures, recorded sessions, or you could do ILT training, which is instructor-led training, which means it has components of virtual sessions in it as well. And then you ask all your learners to submit work through the LMS, and then the local assessors and instructors are giving feedback to learners through the LMS, and then you check the work, you do the quality assurance, and you certify. But in scenario 3, because they don't have access to personal computers, but they do have access to smartphones, this is your chance to optimize your e-learning programs for mobile. Here we recommend that you create self-paced learning, with recorded sessions that learners can download to their mobile through the Global Childhood Academy app, and then they can continue to submit their assignments through the LMS. The local assessors and instructors provide that feedback to them, and then you still check the work, you quality assure, and you certify. Whereas in the last scenario, where the learners don't have access to any of these, then we switch gears to, instead of using the LMS for the learners, we set it up for the trainers, or the TOT model. So TOT content is placed on the platform. Instructors, assessors, coordinators have access to the course, and then they have the freedom to deliver it in correspondence, using text-based, using WhatsApp, whatever makes sense for them. And then they submit the reports online through the LMS, and you check the work, you quality assure, and you certify. And what's great about Global Childhood Academy is all those scenarios are available. They're imagined as if one platform kind of helps you deliver wherever you are delivering, whatever the resources availability is in that country, in that region. And there's just so much flexibility within those scenarios to have to mix and create your own scenario as well. So next, I'm so excited to kind of hand it over to Maria, who's going to take us home. Thank you, Maria.
Thank you, Dr. Samia. Lots of information and things that I hope everyone is thinking about, all those technical scenarios. One of the easiest things for me as a digital marketer to think about is step number 5, which is awareness building through cultural marketing. And I think we don't really think about this in detail. So Forbes magazine, what they're saying here is that to get greater engagement and grow your business and your courses, you have to understand the culture you're entering into. And I think we all know that subconsciously. We say, yes, we want to do that. We want to be competitive in these new local markets, but we don't think about something as simple as, say, the image, right? That's all part of what cultural marketing is as we begin to put our courses together. So I want to show you an example of common mistakes that we make, right? We go to stock photos and we say, oh, I'm going to offer this course in the Middle East and I need a picture of a man. And we just go in and we pick a picture without really thinking about the culture, the context of the people that you're talking to. And all 3 of these images, they look the same. If you're sitting in Southern California, like I am, I don't know the difference, right? You need to work with someone that understands that these pictures are very different, that some are what you want to choose and some are things that could offend someone else in another part of the world. So knowing how to do these things, how to understand the cultural marketing alongside of traditional marketing can make your course more successful. So that's what's really important about one of the elements that GCA is providing you as a partner when you bring your courses here. So working with that team and knowing it is important. Next, I want to give you, so I work with the partners from the marketing side, from all of that cultural relevance, but in terms of your learning outcomes and things, I just want to give you some of the benefits that they have found in expanding. So the very first thing is obviously the most logical, right? We increase revenue. When we expand our businesses to another part of the world, we're going to earn more money to grow our business and further our mission. That's the number one thing that partners are doing when they expand. Number 2, just taking your mission, your courses, your work into a new market opens up so many avenues of creativity, of growth, building your own team. There's just so many benefits to going into a new market that you had never thought that you could. And that's a huge benefit that partners say to me all the time is, we're so excited that you're bringing us to new places. And I think that's a wonderful thing. The third benefit of expanding is that your customer base grows. And when you get new customers, it's not really just about revenue, it's about feedback. It's about getting new ideas and how to expand. And it's looking at problems from a totally different perspective, from a totally different view. I know myself as an online course creator, this is one of the greatest benefits that I see in getting a customer from a different part of the world, is that they see what I do completely different. And that's a wonderful benefit of expanding. Your next benefit is having a diversified business. If the pandemic has taught the world anything, is that we are one world, but we are all very different. We experience the same things in different ways. And diversifying your business can only make it more successful because we live in this kind of a world. We're getting smaller and more diverse, and growing your business is something that Global Childhood Academy can bring you into. And that's a really great benefit of expansion. Competition. Who doesn't want to be ahead of their competition? Right now, because of the pandemic, we're all thinking about online learning. We all understand Zoom. We're all learning things that a year ago we didn't even understand. So how do you get ahead of your competitors? Well, you go places that they're afraid to go or that they don't know how to go to. So those of you on this call and those of you listening, you're learning something that your competitors don't have. And that's one of the greatest strengths that Global Childhood Academy offers your business and your courses, is that ability to move ahead of competitors. And I think that's really powerful. Finally, your reputation as a business owner. So if you're located here in the States and you expand internationally, we look at you differently. We say, wow, you took that risk, you grew, and you must be doing something right. And that always is a great ability from any part of the world to move to another part of the world. We as consumers, as colleagues, we look at it very differently. And there's nothing better than that, than acknowledging the great work that you're doing and the effort that you have. And I just want to say that for partners who have come to us at Global Childhood Academy, they have said, we couldn't have done this on our own. And we don't want you to do it on your own. As Samia said in the beginning, this is why we put this whole webinar together, is because you don't have to do these things on your own, no matter what elements you need specifically, from creating a course to just launching a course or just expanding overseas. You don't have to do it alone. And that's a really powerful perspective to have. So let's do a little recap. Working with an LMS that you trust, seeing what is available to you, and knowing that they're offering you an opportunity to bring your courses to the audience that you want. And working with a team that understands all of the things that, from step 1 to step 5, and then the things you're going to learn about in the ebook. It's a complicated world, and every place is very different. And it's good to work with a team that understands that. It's also good, as I mentioned, the nuances of cultural and digital marketing. It's hard to navigate that. It's hard to find and access local education partners, those boots on the ground, right? And I think the primary thing that I want you to know is that understanding how each location uses technology, it's so different. How do your learners want to reach you? Even in the United States, it's a very big place. It's very different how learners want you to reach out to them. And we have an understanding of how that happens in different parts of the world. Working with a platform that has the technology, and I'm not talking about access, I'm talking about the intricacies to help your learners advance and really gain the knowledge that they need to move and elevate themselves. Working with a platform that can guide you and that has the technical ability to allow grant funders to offer subsidies. This is a whole training in itself, but it's so critically important. And one of the great things about Dr. Samia and the team is that they do understand that, and they do have that ability to help you guide that. And finally, understanding the value and importance of how all of this comes together. I'm all about connection. And as the world gets smaller and more global, that focus on a global child as a community, offering your expertise within that community, is really critical. And you're not going to find another platform that gives you that ability to be in this framework. Thank you, Chantal, for shifting that, because this should make more sense to you. This is our community. This is where our learners are. We want to build a world that's better for that global child. We want to offer people our expertise and give them the knowledge that we have from one part of the world to another part of the world. We all have so much to share, and it's so intricate. Who thinks of a lawyer as being part of early childhood education? It is, just like law enforcement, just like parents and caregivers and policymakers. All of these things, all of these people and industries are in Global Childhood Academy. We are not in there to put you in a sea of courses that are irrelevant to the mission. We all get who you are and what you do. And I think that's so powerful and really, really so important for what we're talking about today. So I hope that makes sense. Now, before we jump into Q&A, we've already had some questions about how do we get the ebook? We're going to email this to you later today. You're going to get a link that will bring you directly to that ebook so that you can look at all the steps and really understand everything you need to scale up to a different part of the world. So that'll be coming to you in your email. Let's get to the good stuff, right? The bonuses and special offers. So these are limited. So for those of you who are listening, you can contact Chantal when you book a demo to understand what's happening. But we wanted those of you that are here, that are listening, to have an opportunity to start right away. And the number one thing that people ask about is creating that first course. Now, Global Childhood Academy is assisting you with the technical parts of bringing your courses to the marketplace. They're bringing it in, helping you to navigate which things to use. Do you want to have assignments or tests, or what is it that can improve the learning outcomes of what you're doing? All in that technical sphere. But this offer is for those of you that really need help navigating, like, which courses should I bring? How can I do this? What would that audience want? How can we compile it together and then get it on the platform to make it worthwhile? So this isn't, offer number one is just power packed and very important. Some of you may already have courses, so you don't need that. You want a discount. We all want a discount. Well, we have tiered pricing, and that's very intentional. The small consultant is not the same as a large advocacy organization. You have multiple courses, multiple audiences. Your costs and your learners are higher than someone at a different level. So we want you to book a demo and have a personal demonstration from Chantal so that she can really see what you have, put you in the right tier, and then offer you a discount there. Now, both of these things will go away on June 11th, right? So for those of you listening, if it's June 12th and you just listen to it, you can still book the demo and you can still see what is being offered from Global Childhood Academy, because we want to encourage everyone to come onto the site. But for those of you here, please book that demo by June 11th and walk through the special offers that are there. So I think that's really important. So let's jump to questions. We already have some that were emailed to us. And the number one thing that people are saying is, wow, do you provide all of the services you talked about today? Do we provide all of this, Samia? What do you think?
First of all, I just want to thank you, Maria, because I feel that before we embarked on bringing these 12 steps, I feel that, based on my experience, I brought a few steps, and then Chantal helped, and Maria, we all kind of compiled together to this 12 steps. And I really hope that all of the people who download the ebook will kind of take it as these are from our experience. And then I'm hoping that they'll also give us feedback. Maybe we'll come back with another 13th step that we didn't think of. That would be great. I would love that to happen. And I really want to thank you both, because what this package that we put together, this ebook, I wish I had this 12 years ago. And I wish that this was available. And I can't believe that we just put this together. And I'm really just so proud of to be having the opportunity to work with both of you to just come this far and put this together. And I'm also excited that, we didn't just put it together because it's a nice ebook to have. It just exemplifies some of the things that Global Childhood Academy is doing and is willing to do for partners who need them. So yes, to answer your question, we're there. Not all the partners that are on the platform will need these, will need all of the 12 steps, but we're sure ready to help.
Yeah, and that's very important, is that wherever you are in that journey, from just thinking about going online to, hey, we're ready, we want to get moving, all of those steps are available to you and can be personalized to your organization.
Yes,
So
I just want to touch on that. This is not a cookie cutter process by no means. And, we're daily onboarding, new courses, new partners, and some of them are coming to us fully functional, and that's fantastic. And then some of them, I'm working with them side by side to really pull out from their experience. Some of them have done live trainings, but have never done anything in a course format. And so there is a little bit of tailoring that needs to happen. And we don't just say, okay, you need to do this. We actually have all the steps laid out for you. We have all the guides laid out for you. And in terms of services, we have different departments within Global Childhood Academy that come in at those specific moments to help you out. So I mean, when we say those services are available to you as a partner, it's very much an understatement.
You're right,
most
Jen. Just
definitely.
yesterday, sorry, Maria, I was talking to somebody, and we started off with just agreeing to meet for like 30 minutes, but then we ended up talking for 2.5 hours. And then at the end of that call, she said, Samia, I feel, that I have the heart, the soul, the passion for children, but I don't have the technical marketing expertise to launch and share my experience with the world. And she told me that I've been in this business for 45 years. And I feel that if I place this knowledge and this experience on the platform, that it will kind of live on as her legacy. So it really touched me on to hear that.
That's a wonderful thing. I mean, that's what's so great about being in a community where we get who you are, where that focus is on the global child and pulling all those pieces together, where you have someone like Chantal and all of the videos and things that can help you navigate that technical stuff, because we all have to do it. That's the world we live in,
Yes,
to
agreed.
get that expertise out in the world. It's very important that we do it.
And I think there's something that we need to elaborate on, Maria, that it's something that we don't talk about often. And I think, it's the expertise is one thing, but when you're trying to reach to a global market, you don't realize the assets that you need. You don't realize that you're going to need a marketing team. You don't realize that you're going to need a technical team. And maybe you're an organization and you're someone, like, we have so many wonderful people on this call today. Like, there's so many of you. And maybe you're someone who is running a bigger organization, but you're really the only decision maker and you're the one that's doing all the work, right? You're already spread thin as it is, in terms of having to either spend resources within your organization to get all this digital asset, and spending time finding the perfect LMS system, finding the resources to be able to run ads and do marketing. Like, your part, when, like, Global Childhood Academy is like partnering with all of that, right? Like, all of a sudden you went from this one person who is just trying to do all the things and make it work, and then you're able to lean on an organization that's saying, hey, here's what we have to offer and here's what we want to do with you, alongside with you. And I think that's something that we overlook very easily a lot of times, but that is such a huge asset to have in your back pocket. You have expert industry leaders in each kind of pocket that you're going to need help with along the way.
Exactly. That it's very important. And we get you. We understand who you are, and we understand the passion that's behind you, whether you're that single person doing 12 jobs, as Chantal says, or you're an organization that has a staff of people, but the staff is focused on your mission. It's not focused on all the technical and cultural parts that we're discussing here today. So it's wherever you fit in that tapestry, it's there. So I think we've kind of addressed some of the other questions that came through here as well, that people were asking about on here. So let's see. I've never created an online course. How much work will GCA do to help me? I hope that question was answered. I think you understand that depending on where you are in that stream, it's important that you're there. How long does it take to create a course? Well, from my standpoint, I come in from the learner outcome and design standpoint. Even that, there's a whole art to that portion. But I think, Chantal, maybe you can jump in here. How long would you say average from beginning to it's launched?
Yeah, so, usually people who are asking this question is because they don't have a course yet set in place. So I'm going to answer it from that standpoint, first of all. So someone who doesn't have a course, you're either in one or two positions. You've either done, and most likely, these are the most common scenarios that we have, is that you're either used to doing, live webinar trainings, or doing kind of live seminars, but you don't have anything kind of like the presentation that we put together today. You don't really have anything set in stone. So you have the content, but you don't have the proper delivery method, which is fine, right? Like it's not. And so for those people, it's not about revamping everything. By no means are we saying, okay, let's scratch that and start from scratch. What we're saying is, let's take what you have, let's utilize it and make it as efficient as possible to bring onto the platform. And we start from there, right? Because as time goes on, you're always going to be refining everything. It's not a one and done kind of scenario, because we're constantly getting feedback from every course on the platform, which enables you to be able to only heighten your delivery, heighten your, the experience for the user. So there's that one. And so when you're doing that, it all depends on how much content you also have as well. Yeah. If you're going to do 10 modules, I would probably say you're probably going to take a few weeks to put all that together, maybe a month, maybe two, and that's fine, right? It all depends on how we need to refine it. If it's a short course, just a few modules, you could have everything up and running within a month. And I would be working with you side by side to do that. Now, if you are someone who has the other scenario, which is, I have a lot of content, I've never done this before, right? We actually love working with these people. I think these people underestimate the fact that they can actually create a course. Why we love working with them, and personally me, is that you're not really attached to anything, right? You've never done this before. So it's kind of like, hey, show me the way. And so it also becomes very easy to just be able to guide you. We have steps and frameworks. We have tools for you to just plug and play your information in. So it's not like you're starting from scratch. And so even there, that process can be as quick as you want it to. I can promise you, any energy that you want to put through launching your courses, I will match that and then some, in order to help you go from start to finish as quickly as possible. Because our goal is for you to be successful, because when you're successful, we're successful, and the children benefit from it. So exactly. That's kind of what I would say in terms of that. Even, and I will preface this, even people who have had a lot of courses and experience with online trainings, once they see what our platform is able to do, our platform is very intuitive. It's a beautiful, complex platform. They actually start thinking outside of the box, because they're like, oh, wow, we can actually do more, right? We can actually now add this. We can actually now incorporate this. So even those who think that they're just ready to put their courses on the platform, it always takes them a couple extra weeks too, because they're just blown away by what they can actually do.
Yeah, it's an exciting process. Let me continue, because we have another question. Our bonus. One of the bonuses is to help someone create a course. What's the difference between what we already do, that technical part that you're discussing, and what we're going to do specifically, should they choose not the discount, but they want to book the demo and sign up with that?
Yeah, so first thing we're going to do, obviously book the demo. Regardless which area you're in, you're going to book the demo. We're going to get on a call, and then I'm going to assess kind of the needs that you're going to have. And as I said, I'm going to, because you're on this call, now this isn't something that we do all the time. This is something very special that we're doing with those of you who have decided to, spend your morning or afternoon or evening with us today. But I'm going to work side by side with you. So I always say, please get used to this space, because you will be seeing a lot, especially if you're someone who, doesn't have the materials in place. I will be working with you side by side. So the process is, we need to figure out where you currently are. And then what we're going to do is we're going to map out a game plan, right? Nothing is going to be left, up in the air and you not understanding anything. And so we're going to work out a game plan. And then what we do is we reverse engineer that game plan into small bite-sized chunks. This is what I need you to do for the next call. We're going to hop on a call a week from today. These are the outcomes that I want. And so, like I said, depending on where you're at, you're going to either need more of my support, or you might say, Chantal, I've had enough of seeing you and speaking with you. I'm going to keep doing this. And then let's just circle back in a week or two and upload these documents, right? So, and the great news is we're available. Email, phone call, you name it. Like I said, we are very, very dedicated to helping you bring this vision to life.
Right. And I do want to mention that one of the other services that the platform provides you is to give you resources to other experts who can help you if you decide that you do need a graphic person and you really need to hone in on one element that's not just part of creating a course or the marketing, or if there's something else that's there. We work with all of those people, and we can refer you to people that can help you to get the job done outside of the scope of the things that we do here. So I wanted to mention that. Now, we want to be mindful of your time. One question that's coming up is about the cost and what it means to have the tiers. I just want to say this: when you are in the demo, you'll understand this more completely, because all of you are different. From a large organization that has multiple courses, maybe they're already ready to go online, to a medium-sized company that's been doing boots on the ground training. Now you're just trying to convert it to online training. Everyone has a different need, and we don't want to have one size fits all kind of pricing. So it's hard to say it's this much or this much, but once you go in and take a look at it, you're going to understand more clearly that we want to make it as personal for you and your organization and what it is you're trying to accomplish, so that it's very successful for what you're doing. So the pricing will be explored there. In your chat, we do have where you can book that demo. We also have an email if you have any additional questions that we're not addressing here. You are going to get an email from us with that link for the ebook, and then again, the demo links that are coming in there. So it will help you to do that. I think we've kind of covered most of, I'm just looking at the questions that came through via email. Do you think we've reached everything, Sami and Chantal? Is there anything else?
No, I mean, we had a really great turnout today. So many of you are here. I know so many of you are listening to this and, are possibly watching the replay. And I mean, the biggest thing we want to do is just reach out, book a demo, regardless if you think this is for you or not. I've gotten on a conversation with a lot of people thinking this is not for me. And then when we start looking at what's really available, the ideas just start flowing. And, being able to partner with such a powerful global mission is something to be really excited about, and at least a little bit curious. So I look forward to seeing those appointments come through.
That's great. Well, I'm so excited to be here. Thank you for inviting me. And
yeah, thank you. I feel so honored to be part of this. Thank you so much.
Yes, excellent. Well, thank you so much for joining us. Look forward to an email in the next hour or so. And once again, if you have any questions, please feel free to reach out. Bye, everyone.
Great. Thank you. Bye-bye.